Hi, guys! As you can see from our current screen, we are going to be talking about Let Sleeping Borg Lie, which is the second episode of Prodigy's second half of its first season. And it's quite an episode, and we are super looking forward to talking to you about it. I have William Wofford with me and Keith Shevlin. And yeah, so I'm feeling one of these days I'm actually going to find the beautiful bean footage and, like the internet is going to implode.
Y'all, I wish y'all could see what I have seen and me just watching Marie finish her food and dancing to the music all at the same time. I thought it was just a beautiful sight, Anyway, I just want to get that out of the way.
Right. I see that you're throwing me under the bus here, William. Thanks.
I didn't see any of that. So as far
There
as
we
I'm
go.
concerned, it
See,
never
Keith
happened.
has my back. Keith
Never
has my
happened.
back.
William's making things up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be real. It is. I did not have time for dinner. It has been a very long day. However, at least I get to end the day with some of my favorite people talking about one of my favorite things, which is Star Trek. And we are going to talk Prodigy today. So let Sleeping Borg lie. Who wants to do the summary?
I think I already know who has to do it.
I'm going to need you to flesh that out for me. I can do it, or you can do it, Keith. It's up to you.
I'm on it.
All
right. Our Protostar crew is now wise to the weapon somewhere hidden on the ship. They watched the hologram reproduction of the scene from the finale of the first half of the season, The Moral Star Part 2, in which the diviner informs Gwyn of exactly what the weapon is. And the whole crew now knows the background of the weapon, as well as Gwyn's family background. They are from the future. So this hasn't happened yet. So this is just like Nero in the Kelvin movies, trying to fix something that hasn't happened yet. So now they're on the search to try to find this weapon somewhere on the ship. And of course, Janeway has no clue because there's once again a hole in her memory. Through some searching on the bridge, they find a secret mark that is unlocked with Gwyn's heirloom that opens up a subdeck below the bridge. And there they find the living construct, a device that is in fact alive and cannot be destroyed. And if we're not let loose, could easily be co-opted by someone else and still used to destroy the Federation. Now, just as they find this and decide that they have to come up with something, lo and behold, they found a Borg cube. Not even trying. Boom, Borg cube.
As you do.
As you do. Several nights I'm out walking and then boom, there's a Borg cube. So, they now decide...
Your neighborhood is infinitely more interesting than mine.
Yeah, we have some things. So, Janeway, of course, tries to scare the crap out of our young crew about who the Borg are, and of course they take this as an invitation to go messing around on the ship, to thinking that the Borg could actually help them deal with this living construct. Janeway informs them that the drones seem to be asleep because of a paralytic nerve infection that separated them from the hive mind. Could that be the same substance that was put in the Borg by Admiral Janeway in the finale of Voyager? Possibly. So the Protostar then decides to go into the Borg cube and open up so their crew can go down to try to find the Viculum in order to find the axis of the hive mind for them to be able to use the Borg to destroy the construct. They find that there is no interface except if someone wants to actually be assimilated. After very little conversation, Zero decides to do it, moves themselves up into the interface and begins to interface with the Borg. The Borg have already scanned the living construct, and they like it. They want it. They want to take the Protostar, they want to take the crew, and they want to use the living construct to destroy the Federation. Seeing that Zero tries to get out, the Borg all wake up, and they capture the crew, bring them to a central sector in order to be assimilated. And Zero, now having been overtaken by the Borg, is leading the assimilation. But Gwyn is able to appeal to Zero to get him to throw off his Borg programming and return to his good, happy Medusan ways. Free the crew so that they can get out. To which they get the esteem of hologram Janeway. Meanwhile, on the USS Dauntless, Admiral Janeway is drinking tea. And she does not like it. She is not happy about it. But it is by Doctor's orders. She goes to meet with the doctor on her ship, Dr. Noom, who is a Tellarite and played by George Costanza himself, Jason Alexander.
Oh.
In case you didn't recognize the voice, yeah.
I'm sorry. My face was still drenched in tears, so I really wasn't paying attention.
In his second Star Trek appearance, or is it his third?
Second, Karas and Voyager. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, she's being led by her Trill ensign, who is voiced by Jamila Jamil, who just came off of She-Hulk. Previous to that, she was on The Good Place.
Yes.
Okay.
And she said it was her lifelong dream to be in Star Trek someday, and now she has. Well, they've come to the Diviner, who is still in his sort of catatonic state, but he is screaming about his daughter and his mission, and that they have his daughter. Then, through their analysis of his special suit, they decide to use the special liquid in the suit to try to bring him back to life. And just as we saw at the end of the episode, as the Dauntless is showing up at the wreckage of Communications Relay 721 from last week's episode, he wakes up. So that's where we are. The Dauntless has found the wreckage of the Communications Relay. Janeway knows there's no way Chakotay is still in command of the ship, and she needs to stop whoever has caused this damage, not knowing that person is in her own sickbay at this very moment.
And that's when the manhunt begins.
Also,
Dun, dun, dun.
did anybody else wonder that there was absolutely no sign of the escape pod with Barnes Frax in it?
Yeah,
I did.
Right.
Well,
I'm just like,
because I'm pretty sure he's alive.
I think maybe they just haven't found him yet. I think they might still find him at the beginning of next week's episode.
Yeah, we're gonna see him later on, and he's gonna be doing his whole. I guarantee he is the comic relief of the show.
And add to that, they did have a distress beacon that they found, so they're going to try. Since they can't go to Starfleet now, they figure they can go save someone. We do know that Thaddeus Akona is going to be showing up very soon. Could that be the distress beacon? Is the outrageous Akona about to be saved by our children
intrepid
of the
Protostar crew? I gotta tell you, like, part of me actually wants that to be Barnes Frax again. Like, they actually find him floating in space in his little escape pod, and they have to rescue him, and then he loses his mind. Like, part of me really wants that to happen because it would be funny, but that's more a Lower Decks thing than a Prodigy thing.
Definitely some Lower Decks stuff. Yeah.
That would totally be Lower Decks. Yeah, if this were Lower Decks, they would totally be the ones to save them.
But I do think there's a good shot at it being Okona, because I don't imagine that his ship has gotten any better in the how many years? I don't even want to speculate. I don't want to know.
34 years.
Shush. Shush.
Season 2 of Next Generation, and season 1 started just over 35 years ago.
Well,
Oh goodness.
The entire of Terry Hatcher's career, because she was E.G. Robinson, the transporter chief, who got no credit who asked that her name be removed from the credits because she did not like her, how she was portrayed in the episode.
I'm learning all of this right now.
Keith, you know, your knowledge base on Star Trek just makes me feel like I am still an infant. In addition to the fact that scene happened before I was born.
I'm gonna need you to stop talking. I'm gonna need you to stop talking.
I had something I want to say, but Marie will boot me out, so I gotta be careful.
I'm telling you, I have my finger on the ban button.
He has it on the trigger. So, but to lightly agree with Michael, yeah, because I'm learning to the extent that I'm learning. This is something news to me. Like I didn't know about that background name removal and all that. I didn't know any of that. I was like, whoa. So that's a whole thing. I didn't know. Okay, cool. What else is next? See, this is why Memory Alpha should be a thing. But anyway,
I mean, it is
a daily dive into Memory Alpha.
Exactly. So,
I tell you, it's worse than going on a wiki spiral. Honestly,
it is.
Oh, yeah.
Like it really is.
Oh, yeah.
And I am far likelier to go on a Memory Alpha spiral.
Okay. I do it all. Wikipedia, Memory Alpha, Cracked, Smithsonian Magazine.
When Cracked was good.
Yes.
Okay.
When Cracked was good.
Before it became all listicles, yes. It used to be really good.
Yes. And you found out all kinds of really interesting stuff. And now not so much.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, Keith, we're old.
Yeah, I was on a Cracked article last week, and it was the first time in over a year. No, gray hair right here. I'm old.
I have gray hair too.
I'm going to point out there's a reason I wear a headband.
I'm really trying to figure out what Cracked is.
Oh my
god. I'm sorry. I have to do this now. So I had to.
I accept it. Listen, every now and again. Every now and again, I have to be put at the kiddie table.
Cracked
I feel like he's trying to take my kiddie spot away from me.
Cracked, I think this is my spiritual ancestor of BuzzFeed.
Well, it's an offshoot of Mad Magazine, first of all.
That's how that started.
Yes.
But it went in a very, very different direction in the sense that it was actually full of really well-researched, snarky articles.
Yeah. There used to be such a good repository of pop culture references, history, all over the place. Yeah. And then it went to hell.
Yeah.
It decided it saw what BuzzFeed was doing, and we're like, hey, we're going to do that because it's easier.
Yeah. Yeah. So, actually, no, I think they ended up going bankrupt. And, and they sort of had to downsize.
Well, Mad Magazine is no longer a thing, so Cracked is basically no longer a thing as well. So.
Right, which is kind of depressing actually, because Mad Magazine was such a staple for so long. But wow, this is getting really depressing and really far away from Prodigy.
I was like, gotcha. Let me interject at some point. Look, what didn't go bankrupt? What didn't go south? And it was the representation of the Borg this week.
I like this because I actually disagree. One of my long-standing problems, if you can really call it a problem, because this is so on brand for Trek, is that villains have a tendency to then, like if you're a villain in one series, you have a tendency to get invited to the table in the next, which is fantastic and spiritually exactly what Trek needs to be about and what we need to be focusing on as people.
Absolutely.
It does, however, make for difficult writing.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, what's an example of that? Like
the Klingons, the
Romulans,
Space Nine.
I mean, so like you're saying, like originally when they're brought on as villains, even though it's good to bring them back, when they are brought back, the con is they're not really written.
They're no longer villains.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, the Dora sisters were always Dora sisters, or are you talking about the actors and actresses?
No, I'm talking about the Klingons as a phenomenon, because in the original series, they were the bad guys.
Like, they were the bad guys.
But I think that goes to the Federation.
Right. Right. And again,
Yeah.
I completely agree. And as I said, this is exactly what Trek needs to do. This is on brand. It does, however, make it difficult to write for Trek because it's, or at least to write exciting stories, because it's easier to write when you have a villain. And this is one of the problems I think that the Abrams movies really struggled with, is trying to find an adequate villain against which, the crew could then, like tilt at windmills. We've already had the Borg get watered down with Hugh. And
So you're kind of talking about the Borg in this instance. Because
yes.
the Borg are
considering they're
Yeah,
I need you to keep up, William.
the Borg this week
might be crazy, might be out there.
And all right, because I was following her and then I lost her and I was like, wait, what? But can we acknowledge the fact that we have actually seen a TNG original Borg? Like,
yeah.
So,
but my frustration. Hold on, I'm gonna finish this.
Okay, finish.
But my frustration is, even in this episode, right? Like where we are really going back to the original TNG implacable resistance and futile style Borg, there's never really a sense of threat here in this episode. I don't necessarily know if it's because, like, as an adult, I know how the story works, or if it's just a function of the fact that I know where the Borg are going to go. And so that was it. If there was one problem I had with the episode, and admittedly it's kind of a minor quibble, that was it.
So how do you feel, that said, to add to that, how do you feel like Hologram Janeway's reaction to the Borg was? Us knowing that they suffered from Admiral Janeway screwing them up, future Admiral Janeway, I mean, and a bunch of other stuff, and that all this other stuff. Do you feel like her warnings were just, or
I mean, 100%. Yeah. Like, yeah. I mean, because that's what Janeway was trying to get at, right? Is that these are very likely the enemies of the Federation.
And they are very dangerous.
Right. And this is also kind of like, this is such a kid move to do, right? Like, I mean, they're not paying attention to what Janeway is saying. Admittedly, holographic Janeway could have phrased this a little bit better. But now they have literally carried knowledge of the weapon that will destroy the Federation to the Borg.
And this is the Borg before Picard season 1. So, yeah. If you think about where we are in the timeline, this is post Nemesis, post Lower Decks, pre-Picard.
Yes.
You know what? I kind of have been wondering what happened to the Borg after Voyager. In the only two things that we have now, and for all we know, this could be the same cube that we saw in Picard.
No,
it's not.
It's not. Okay, cool. So we know of the Borg cube in Prodigy, and we know of the what's it called? The artifact?
Artifact, yeah.
Yes.
In Picard, and that's like a 15-year gap, I'm gonna say, because it's been some years, because Captain Janeway
I've been trying to figure out where Prodigy specifically falls, because we only started getting star dates, and
I know,
trying to figure out
when the star date falls. That these people came from the future, and
no, not even messing with that. Just
okay, we're just present. Okay.
Right. I mean, we just need to know where the protostar is, because the protostar is not an artifact of the future. It's literally just the living construct.
It can't be more than 5 years from the last episode of Voyager. It can't be.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Regardless, we got ourselves some Borg. We got ourselves some Borg. They're enemies of the Federation at this particular moment. And the children pop on over and are like, "Sup, guys?"
Read my mind.
Kids do.
As you do. So I'm wondering if we're going to see that again, and that would be a nice kind of tie-in.
Marie, I agree wholeheartedly. I literally just finished watching the episode at like 9:35, and so that was one of my thoughts. And I said, I was like, how are they going to loop this back? But to your point about the threat, I will say in episode, what series is that where they started talking? Oh, in Voyager, when they were trying to access the vinculum for 7 of 9,
Right.
there was an automatic activation of drones when they went through. Like, to touch the vinculum is considered a threat within the Borg cube. So I get what you were saying. Like, there was never really necessarily a threat per se.
It's
but
not even
to
just
touch-
that, right? It's not even just that. It's despite the fact that, we know that the Borg are actually, pretty effective at what they do. These are the slowest moving Borg ever.
I mean,
Well, they were infected by a neurolytic pathogen,
right?
I know, but this is like Tholian web slow.
I mean, yeah, because
I'm like at this point, I'm like going, hey guys, power walk and you're good.
I mean, if in their defense, their Borg queen is gone.
And I noticed, I will say to that point, Will, they changed the voice. They did not do a female voice, and I thought that was very good.
It was multiple voices.
Right.
Now, arguably,
because those
I didn't
were
hear
individual
multiple
drones.
voices. I heard the same male voice when he was
Well,
talking to Zero.
I heard multiple male voices. That's what I heard, but not like the big, vast collective.
It sort of sounded like that's what they
You're
were
on mute.
going. Bloody.
Sorry, that's me.
I am not. Haha.
I was on mute.
It sounded like they were a quartet and not a collective.
It was one voice artist looped several times. Ben Thomas did all of the Borg voices that they.
Why? Why is this? Is it because Unimatrix is destroyed? Like,
No,
what?
it's because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Oh, they could have they could have grabbed any recording. Like it. Well, never mind.
No, then
They were
they have
talking
to
directly
pay
with
for that recording.
Right. So no, it was much cheaper to get this guy to say one line and then.
And then do a slightly different version for the Rhino Borg version, and
Oh,
Yeah.
I was wondering what other species would look like if they were assimilated. We had a whole rhino, and I'm going like, oh, so you're the guardian.
That's what they called him in the credits with Rhino Borg. So.
I swear, I need more Rhino Borg in my life, though.
I do as well.
Right? So
there's
that. And then also, can we talk briefly about like how My Little Pony this was, that the Borg were defeated by the power of friendship?
Yeah.
I had a moment. I had a moment, y'all.
I thought it was weird how they kind of did the light impact. But similar. I would say this. I thought, I found a lot like, but it's just enough that it actually like holds together. And so we know that Marie, yes, it does. So we know that Borg are still impacted by physiological changes and physiological threats. We see that through the neurolytic pathogen. We saw that through Voyager, and we see this now with Zero using his magic light power to flash them in this.
No, but that's not it, right?
I think
That's not what I'm
Care
talking
Bears
about.
there rather than My Little Pony.
It's a Medusan stare. Everybody get together and join hands. Billy's up. Okay.
Before you
Right. Okay, so Michael and William, this was a show that had little bears, and we watched it as kids. So anyway, now that we've caught them up.
I know what My Little Pony is, okay?
No, we're talking
about Care Bears.
That wasn't My Little Pony. What? She said bears.
Care Bears. I don't know where William is today, but he is not here.
I'm not,
right?
Right.
Look,
That's gonna become like a Trekker to like quote. You're talking about the Borg, right?
Oh my God. I give up on life. That's not I meant to say, what, screw it. I have a question for Marie. So Medusan is the species of Zero. Does that imply like from like the goddess Medusa, that one with the snake head, and kind of like that? If you look something will
Right.
happen to you. Is it like that?
Yeah.
So Star Trek is not always great at subtlety.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with yes. That's where it came from. Sort of like Solum being the name of the Valnicott planet. Yeah, really gets you, really gets you a message there. Because not only are you solo, you are solum, which is a singular noun.
Yeah, you make the Romulans with their planets of Romulus and Remus.
Right?
Like,
right?
yeah, we get you, Gene Roddenberry. You've studied history. Okay.
Got that memo. Yeah. So no, you were not wrong, William.
More metaphors, great.
Of
Okay.
course. But yeah,
I mean, metaphors with a sledgehammer.
yes. Medusans
Like,
were introduced in Is
obvious
There in Truth No Beauty as a non-corporeal being.
Yes.
So how do you get
Which also
assimilated?
happens to be Diana Muldaur's first Star Trek appearance.
First or second? Or she was also in Return to Tomorrow.
I thought Where No Man Has Gone. I thought Is There in Truth No Beauty was before that. But anyway,
hold on.
that is Diana Muldaur, a very
Yes,
young Diana
Yes,
Muldaur.
Diana Muldaur.
Regardless of whether or not I can remember my numbers. I mean, I went to law school, people. I have clearly no practical life skills.
Law school, not accounting. Got it.
Right? If I
Okay,
had any practical life skills,
Season
I would have
3,
done anything
episode
else.
7, Is There in Truth No Beauty, with her is Dr. Miranda Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And double check. Memory
And
Alpha
also the first
load.
appearance of the Idic, which really drove Leonard Nimoy up the wall. I know. I love the symbol. I love the symbol. But Nimoy was just like, you're just trying to merchandise. And years later, like, we're all drowning in Star Wars merch, but not so much in Trek. So
All right, Return to Tomorrow was her first appearance.
Okay. So it was her second.
Season 2, episode 22.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
So since we did do a slight pivot, talking about merchandising.
Slight
pivot.
He's trying not to be booted off.
I'm wondering where you're going to take this.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I see Saru.
Can we talk about how there were no Lower Decks costumes available for Halloween? Or not Lower Decks. Prodigy costumes available for Halloween.
Oh, true, yeah, there were no Prodigy. Yeah.
And I literally was Googling because I was like, ooh, I can do a unique like Halloween outfit. So I had to have a Friday outfit and a Saturday outfit. And so for Saturday, I was like, oh, I can do like a Star Trek uniform, quick and easy, and it can double and I can wear it for the show next week. Where is the merchandise?
I'm looking for it.
Yes.
I'm looking for it.
Honestly, okay, in their defense, I think this is really the first, like, this is the second appearance, really, of that away uniform that they've got. So I think that's really, it hasn't been around long enough.
Okay, I just put a picture on our Discord.
Found it. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
I went to Walmart on Saturday and I walked to the Star Wars section, and there I saw your classic Star Trek's phaser surrounded by Star Wars crap. And there's Captain Kirk and Khan surrounded by Star Wars crap. And then here's the Enterprise surrounded by Star Wars crap.
So what you're saying is Marie needs to go to Walmart. Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. I will try to squeeze that in this weekend.
Target.
I'll take the boys. Well. It'll be great. They can buy their first action figures.
I mean, I got this at my comic shop is also a toy store, so it has not only the newer Playmate stuff but the old stuff too.
Good. But yeah, I'm wondering if so we've made a pivot, and I think that and I have to own up to being wrong about something.
Whoa.
That's not quite what we're going for, but you know,
NC-17 alert on that picture there.
Okay. It makes me happy because I was also like, that's just a massive package on the Kindle.
Like, it's the only one I could find. Like, they didn't put no pants. I feel like they did this as a joke, but that's actually a real man. It's up for
I can't not look at it now. Like I'm not even focused on the uniform.
So huge. It's not even
Can we blur it out now? I feel like we have a responsibility for censorship here.
And this is the other uniform.
I do.
Well, that's
Okay,
just
I have to
Wiz.
admit, I do like Gwen's Val Nakot.
That's
She's so much less terrifying than her father.
Yeah.
That's pretty hot. But
Little bit,
I
yeah.
could not find one easily to purchase because I wanted to do double duty. I was a little upset. And so CBS, I know you're listening. I know you're watching. Paramount, I know you're listening. I know you're watching.
Get on that shit.
Oh yeah,
Stop
that
doing
one
this to
person
me.
that is right there looking at us right now. Hey.
I don't care. I don't
family.
care where they are. They're somewhere listening. They're somewhere watching. I know.
We're like 30 minutes into this, and I've already lost control. This is amazing.
I don't know.
We
We're
have
already
already
threatening CBS and Paramount.
I know. I mean, but you're on the show, Michael, so obviously that was going to happen. Duh. I knew that. I was prepared for that. No, it was more the giant package on the Ken doll that just kind of got me sidetracked.
Keith, what were our Easter eggs today?
Okay, we had transparent aluminum. We had trilithium. We had, of course.
Oh, we had
references
Giacchino's soundtrack sounds almost exactly like it did
Who's
Yeah.
soundtrack?
for 2009.
Yes. Well, you had the dun, 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 you know the
Yeah. Like especially at the end, I was just like, any minute now, like we're gonna come out with a new Spock. Zachary Quinto, what?
I missed that reference.
yeah.
So Michael Giacchino is the gentleman who has basically done all the film soundtracks, right?
Okay.
He's also doing Prodigy.
Yeah, he
And I
yeah,
think
he
some of
did
the
all
others
the
maybe?
Kelvin movies.
Oh,
He's
so
now
you're saying,
doing
okay,
Marvel
got
as
it,
well.
got it.
Oh, the musician. Okay.
Yeah. So like when you hear the music, especially toward the end of the episode, it very much recalls the themes from Star Trek 2009.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I could, if I didn't watch it maybe 5 minutes before and was able to watch it twice, I might have picked up on that. But you
really don't want to know when I squeeze this in. Like you just don't want to know.
Okay.
It's been that kind of a week, guys.
Any physical Easter eggs, Keith?
I mean,
Well,
the coffee, obviously.
Yes, the
the
references to coffee, and the fact that Noam is a Tellarite, and Tellarites
and is
want to
also,
argue.
George Costanza.
Yes.
And yes, so I think a lot of the cast are the tea thing.
Yeah, the tea.
definitely.
We see
Yeah,
the
sheer-
there is
I mean-
no joy at all in anything
I
to
know.
do with the
No,
tea.
can we talk about it? Because I really, really felt her when we, like as she's staring with rage at the replicator. Because I have been on a diet and I have had those feelings.
and she's always had this weird love-hate relationship with the replicator.
Of course.
Also valid.
Yes, very true.
But
Also
she
valid.
hated having to order it. She hated watching it materialize. She hated having to stir it and steep it.
I didn't even
And
know
she
tea could
hated
come
having
black.
to drink it.
I didn't know
That was so much rage.
Yeah.
I knew coffee could come in black, but I didn't know tea could come in black. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing.
There is more than Earl Grey tea, I promise.
I mean, tea is tea. I didn't think it would come in
I have
No,
failed
tea
you
is
as a
definitely not tea.
friend. I have failed you as a friend because you are
I am
wrong.
losing it today.
You are not you're not even in the same galaxy as
I'm not
White
even
at this
here.
moment.
You know what? Let me go get my wine. I'll be back.
So I will
Get
say,
the tea.
get some tea.
Oh God. Okay. Let's.
God,
I
Can we
will
actually?
say-
Can we get back to? Can we get back to the episode?
Yes,
'cause
yes.
I do.
but was
I
gonna
do
say,
really
one
want to
thing
talk.
I did like.
Yeah, to that one person that's watching us and just waiting for us to get back on track. Whoever the hell you are, how you doing?
I really want to talk about Dal's character arc here,
Okay.
and also
So,
Zero's.
well, can I go to one thing before we pivot to that? So can I
I'm gonna
just
put you on a
point out-
timer.
It's about the tea. And so I love that they still have health problems and they represented that again. And so like we constantly think to like Star Trek and we're like, oh, take a pill, we fix diabetes. Take this, we
You can grow a new kidney.
yes, all these things, but there are still things that we have to deal with and we have to contend with as humans. And sometimes you have to be like, listen, we just got to cut the caffeine if you want to survive, if you want to live longer.
I'm actually going to point out that her doctor is currently a Tellarite, and I am fully comfortable assuming that he's just being a dick.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm also going to say that how did a Tellarite pass bedside manner training?
Well, Tellarite,
I mean, what med school have you
been?
been to?
Tellarite doctor.
I mean, you
Otherwise, that
cannot be.
society,
would have died out. Yeah.
You cannot be Admiral Janeway and not deal with a doctor who's had a weird bedside manner.
No, my question is, why is he on the bridge?
Because McCoy was.
I know,
Duh.
He should have.
We never got a satisfactory answer to that either.
But
there's no reason he
they
should.
could have picked up debris, have to be prepared. Well, then he should have been in sickbay, ready to receive casualties.
Exactly. He's got a patient.
Also, I really kind of want to talk about the pirate pants because I'm kind of digging the look.
I support it.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of Scotty's uniform a little bit. Just a little
Scotty
bit.
never had pirate pants, my dude.
He never had pirate pants, but he sounded like he was on a pirate ship.
But
somebody had boots.
He's got a black coat. You had Crusher with the blue coat on Next Generation. He's got a black one, but it's sleeveless. So that's interesting.
Somebody had on boots in the original series.
Like most of them. All
of them. They were
wearing
boots.
Yeah, everyone wears boots.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking, William, to your point, I think I may be thinking of an episode. Maybe Scotty's pants were just baggy.
Well, yeah, because when I think of Scotty, I'm not talking about the TOS or even like the first 3 movies Scotty. I'm talking about the 4, 5, and 6 Scotty, where he's wearing like he has the white shirt and he's wearing like the over thing and he has like big paint. He has a nice big belly and that's Scotty. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, he's got the white turtleneck that's underneath the
turtleneck and the whole.
Like he just replaced it with the black vest.
It's Tellurite, and
like that vest is bitching though.
Yeah,
right. It's a vest. That's what it's called, a vest.
Oh, yeah.
I support the whole outfit. I'd wear it.
Oh yeah.
I am fully expecting that to happen. You have your orders, Mr. Greer.
There is one.
So now I believe we have a character arc to discuss. I did it. You see, I brought it back to you. I brought it all the way back.
Yeah, do we want to do Dal or do we want to do Zero first?
Can we do Dal first? Because I really want to join you on Zero.
Okay. But I think Zero, actually let's do Zero first because I think we can actually clap out Zero pretty quickly.
Okay.
So you were the one crying, so you get this one. And do try to stick with us.
Okay, I'll try to stick. So okay. So hold on. Here it is. There's Zero. Now.
And Dal, well done.
Yeah.
You remember these characters, right?
I mean, yeah, I remember that. Okay, so okay. So, like, yeah. Okay, so.
Breathe.
I love Zero so much because I've gotten to know them in the biggest way. This particular episode, we've seen we've known that they felt terrible since what happened with what's her face? Gwen. Okay, thank you. So
you said you knew these.
I said I knew Zero. That's what I said.
Oh my god!
And so what happens in today's episode gave me a reason to remember Zero's name. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Basically, he's carrying the guilt from what happened earlier last year. I'm going to say last year. And to the point where, well, they kind of get temporarily assimilated, which is interesting because it's a non-corporeal being. And I thought that was really cool. But it really adds to the arc of them as a character. And I'm trying to stick with the they, them pronouns the best that I can. So please, I'm sorry if I say he. But yeah. All right, Marie, take it away. Oh, the reason I was crying. So I just couldn't stop. I was just like, oh my God, you feel so like Gwen Ben forgave you. She doesn't hold anything against you. She knew what you were trying to do, and it was an accident. Like it was a genuine act. And yes, things could have gotten worse, but she's trying to tell him the issue was while she forgave them, they didn't forgive themselves. And it took hearing that in a crisis situation for them to forgive themselves and be magically freed from the collective. The only reason I gave that
the power of friendship. The
power of friendship. The only reason I gave that a pass is because Zero's a non-corporeal being. That's the only reason. Because if it was a humanoid, I would have said that's some bullshit. You would have been assimilated. Picard cried in family and said, I fought so hard. And that's Picard.
I'm looking forward to rewatching this episode. I just gotta say, if only for that impression.
Well, I agree with you because it didn't make sense to me that he would have been, that they would have been. Sorry, you got me on this now, that they would have been assimilated because they were a non-corporeal being.
Right.
There's nothing for the nanobots to latch
grab
on to.
onto.
So
Exactly.
they gave themselves to the Borg because they, in that moment, were in their
Guilty.
control.
Feeling guilty.
Yeah. So the guilt was overpowering them more than the Borg was. So
And I think also being assimilated allowed them to shed that guilt.
Yes.
If it literally it's a pretty negative coping mechanism, but I mean we've all done it, right? Like I mean you find anything at all that you can focus on rather than dealing with the root of the issue, and that's what Zero's doing.
Right.
Have you all seen the movie K-Pax? Kevin Spacey.
A million and a half years ago.
Okay, it's set where Kevin Spacey.
On my time.
K-Pax.
Well, yeah. So Kevin Spacey is a alien, apparently in the body of a human that's been brought to this psychiatric facility, and he starts treating the people in the facility. It's the doctors are caring for them, but he's actually trying to treat them. And one of them is he gets the one guy to almost kill his best friend, but let him go at the last second because the guy was scared of everything. He was scared of being outdoors, scared of any germs, anything. But the mere fact that he faced near death cured him. In that was so that's what comes to mind when I think of what Zero went through in this. That they were felt so bad about all the bad that they were forced to do by the Diviner, then that they themselves did bad in attacking the Diviner and hurting Gwyn, but now giving themselves over to the Borg, they are about to be forced to do bad once again, this time to their own new collective of the crew of the Protostar.
And to your point, Keith, there were 2 pointers that the Borg used. One, they used the fact that Zero was somewhat comfortable in that environment because they were showing them, because that's this whole thing. It's like they felt guilty for showing their true selves, their true form, where they showed themselves in front of the Borg, and the Borg's like, "You're just another species to us."
Yep.
Now that's acceptance, but a very toxic type kind of acceptance.
And the Medusans are a hive collective.
So they get it. Yeah. And the last part that the Borg used, which makes them decent villains in Trek, the fact that they spoke through Zero and said, Zero hurt you. This is the way things should be. And I was like, whoa. So they know what happened. Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they have access to everything Zero knows.
Exactly.
Including that there's a weapon that will destroy the Federation.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think this is also kind of a little bit glossing over what I actually think is the biggest moment for Zero.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Which is when they make the decision about what they're going to do with their life. They have a choice, and they make the choice. Because some of what Zero is going through is having lost agency over themselves. Because we know they were captured, we know they were used over and over and over to do something they never wanted to do. And Zero has been trying in fits and spurts to try to reassert that agency. So at the very end, Zero says, what I realized was that, whatever I did in the past, I can make a decision about what I'm going to do in the future. And I'm choosing to do this. And I think that's huge. Because it gives Zero power back in a really beautiful way. And it's that same kind of choice that we see Dal make, by the way, in this
Beautiful
episode.
Segue.
I know. I'm just that good.
So well done, Irene. So well done.
Well done.
But I'm serious about this because we are now seeing a very, very different Dal, right, than we saw at the beginning at Tars Lamora. That Dal lived in what I'm going to call a constant present, sort of like small children do. There's not really There's not really a differentiation between the past and the future. In Dal's case, the past is kind of a black hole, and the future isn't something he thinks about because he has to think, from moment to moment. And we saw that even in Tars Lamora when he's like, I escaped. Now where am I gonna go? He didn't plan for that. Because he's never had anything, he's never had that ability. What the Protostar, what Starfleet, what this crew has given him is a found family. And for the first time, he has a future. And he has the ability to choose what that future is going to look like. And so he's willing not only to defer his gratification, he's willing to do that for someone else. This is a massive change.
Absolutely.
And it's a beautiful culmination, I think, of this arc of what we've seen Dal doing and experiencing.
And this is on top of the fact that he now has confirmation that Starfleet knows about his species. Right?
I mean, his confirmation comes in the form of Jankum Pog. So,
I mean, yeah. I mean, because it's like he's not chasing after, knowing what he knows now about the machine, about this entity right here. It's like, no, you couldn't go back to Starfleet even if you wanted to, because we know what's going to happen. We can't deactivate it. We can't kill it. So what is there left to do? Well, and you can't destroy it. So unless you fly the ship into a sun or something, I don't know if you can even eject it because it looks like a bunch of floating big chunky macropods just hovering around. Like I would say nanopods, but they're smaller, so I'm going to say macropods. They're just a bunch of looking like a transformer. Like
$5 says they kill it with a virus.
But right, that is. So,
I'm not taking that bet.
That is so Independence Day. So here's the thing. You know what? Can we talk about this? Like
it's War of the Worlds, actually, but
yeah, it's gonna be a cold.
If you can't,
they're going to have me sneeze on it. That's what's going to happen.
Well, okay. So I'm not going to say you can't destroy it, but you can't shoot it. You can't deactivate it, and you can't. What was the last thing? And you can't put it to. And you can't. Whatever the thing is. Turn it off. What can you do to it?
Give it a virus.
I'm gonna call it right now. Murph is gonna save the day. Murph is gonna destroy it.
What's Murph gonna do? Eat it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, there was foreshadowing in tonight's episode. There's something not right with Murph.
Right.
We don't know that much about Murph, but that's where the mystery is, right?
No, but
I missed that. Tell me about it.
Murph has a cold at the end.
Well,
and Murph has proven impervious to literally everything.
So
Murph doesn't care about the vacuum of space.
Oh, I have a picture.
In the clip of the show that was shown on Star Trek Day, when Akona is on the bridge and they are now face to face with the Dauntless, Murph is yes.
I do know that scene. Yes.
So we know that something bad is coming to Murph, and this was our first sign that something is wrong with Murph in this episode.
Murph is not going to.
I won't say something is wrong. He goes through a transformation.
Yeah,
I'm not comfortable with the idea of Murph getting cancer and dying, so let's just not go there.
Yeah, he goes through a transformation, and they made that very clear because he's like, apparently he goes into some type of dormant state, and then Rock is like, guys, something's happening. And so I think there was in the side corner, there's a little brown black ball, and then they're like something's happening. So there's going to be some type of transformation, but we should know what it is. Memory Alpha, what is the life cycle of
Melanoid slime worm?
The only other slime worm that I've seen was on Lower Decks.
No, the only time it was mentioned
other
before
mention
was,
of this is in Coming of Age.
Yes, it was a slur thrown at Wesley by the Rondon.
Yes.
in the hallway in Coming of Age. Yes,
that's the only time it's ever been mentioned.
So we know literally nothing about them except for what we've seen of Murph.
Here's my next question. Even though it's still a kid show,
yes.
Does it fall under the same parameters as killing off a character before the next season?
I am almost convinced that Chakotay's dead, and I'm not going to grieve.
Yeah.
Look,
I
look, look,
agree.
look. You're gonna take it there. Please separate Chakotay from Robert. They are not okay.
I have more of a problem with Chakotay than I do with Robert.
Why? He didn't do nothing.
Yes, he did.
What?
Can we go back to the fact that Marie said, I'm okay with her being like, they killed him off, but I'm okay with it. And it was just like, I'm just straight up like, slaughter and murder.
He hates Robert Beltram so much, and as she should. But
I mean, it has nothing. No, again, it has nothing to do with it. I think Chakotay was a very problematic character.
They
we couldn't figure out what to do with him.
wrote him that way. That's not Chakotay's fault. That's the writer's fault.
He should.
They couldn't figure out what to do with Chakotay.
I know, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be super, super unhappy to see a problematic character.
Janeway and Chakotay belong together.
Listen.
No, she
belongs. That's what. Hey, that's what fanfic is for, sweetheart. I will show you AO3.
And that's Memory Gamma. You go to Memory Gamma for fanfic.
I'm telling you, they're together.
No.
That's not happening.
She belongs to Mark.
Y'all gonna be mad.
He has a daughter with Mark.
That Chakotay is alive and that they have a long distance professional relationship. Y'all gonna be mad at me.
I think Chakotay is alive.
Because where did that voice come from? He is clearly Robert is clearly using his voice because I never heard any of them lines in Voyager before.
What?
I mean, are you talking about the recreation that Janeway created on the holodeck of events that had already happened?
What I'm saying is, if they took the time to hire Robert to be in Prodigy just to voice the recreation of Chakotay, I'm pretty sure he's alive.
One word answer to that: Icheb.
Valid point. But
they didn't bring Manu Interyelmi back
for good reasons.
I mean,
yes.
I will. Hey, I will.
Did he just not look the part anymore?
I will take the bullet in this case and disregard that because the majority of Trackers Delight has agreed that Picard season 2 is shitty writing. So
Picard season 1, but okay.
Picard is shitty writing.
Therefore, you can't say each of okay.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. But I'm going to point out, Michael, the actor that played Icheb has come out in defending Kevin Spacey against
Anthony Rapp.
And in light of the fact that Star Trek Discovery is kind of the flagship program for Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
And he just keeps on digging the hole deeper anytime it comes up. Yeah.
Was that Chakotay's voice or not?
Yeah. Yes,
yeah.
But
William.
5 years of Chakotay's life since the end of Voyager.
Right, which means you have to have permission from the actor to use his voice. You can't just take
He's a cast member on the show, but that doesn't mean he's going to still be alive.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's dead or alive. But I'm
We're speculating. That's what this podcast is all about.
What we're doing right now.
Come back to us, William. Come back.
He is alive. He's probably stuck in some different timeline for all I know. And I'm telling you, he and Janeway, after he broke up with Seven, they somehow, years later...
William, I'm going to need you to go find your wine because it may be time for Sebastian.
Yeah, you need to come down. But so, to William's point, I believe that... So, the Diviner strikes me as a person who doesn't waste anything.
Absolutely.
And
That's
in that vein, I could see the Diviner being like, we got the Protostar, stick those mofos in stasis somewhere. I got a plan for them in case I ever fail or in case something happens.
I really need John Noble now to say the word mofos and stasis. I need to hear that.
Well, we got part of that on The Boys. So
True.
Yeah. Him as the dad on The Boys is fantastic.
Yeah, that was inspired.
Yeah.
But I can see the Diviner as having almost the Tal Shiar mindset of nothing goes to waste, or not Tal Shiar, Obsidian Order mindset. Okay. Everything that comes into our contact, we keep.
Except he was running a prison labor camp. Why would he have prisoners in stasis instead of putting them to work? Wouldn't they be more worthwhile? I mean, they're using up resources in stasis. Put them to work.
But if I need a backup plan on how to infiltrate Starfleet, let's say my plan goes awry.
Okay.
I already know I know humans inside and out. I've studied them. I understand their behavior. If I can control a Starfleet captain, I can send that captain back to the Federation to help do my bidding as well. And ensure
I
the
mean,
destruction of the Federation.
honestly, I think it makes more sense for the diviner to be using Chakotay as some sort of like voodoo doll for Starfleet. Like he's got him somewhere and is just like sticking him with things.
Yeah, I
Before
can
I
definitely
see
him
that.
like in a puppet kind of thing, all strung up somewhere. Yes.
Right.
So I think what I'm saying is more so like
ain't right.
he is doing what I'm trying to say. He would keep him in stasis until he needs to enact the voodoo doll plan.
You're saying that Chakotay
That's what I would think.
Somewhere. Until to be awake.
If he's not dead, he's probably in stasis somewhere. Yeah, that makes the most sense because there's no way he's just living somewhere.
Yeah,
Unless I chucked him onto a random planet.
Yeah.
Which is, and you can sort of see him like getting chucked onto the random planet and then standing there and being like, damn it, again?
Yeah.
Season 1 finale. Season 1 finale. I can't get away from this. At least I'm not here with Janeway and can't sleep with her this time.
Yeah, he had better chance with the damn monkey.
I don't leave Chakotay alone.
No, I refuse.
Keith is standing up. He's like, I refuse.
He did not deserve her. He did not deserve 7 of 9.
No, she clearly should have ended up with the doctor.
They should have never been together. Just like, and I feel like they did that. I feel like they did that on purpose as a reflection of how horrible the relationship decision was between Troy and Worf. Like, they should have never been together. They should have never been in the same. I can understand parallels. I understand that episode. I get it. But as far as all good things and they're together, and we don't even get to see them break up, no, that writing should have never even happened.
Well, that was Worf because of the fact he saw himself with her in parallels. He thought, I'm going to take my shot.
Which, sort of makes sense, especially with the whole abortive thing with Ezri.
Yeah.
So where in the world did Seven and Chakotay even come from? Other than the fact, whoa, pause. I do know. Just like you said that Worf saw in parallels himself with Deanna, we saw actually multiple episodes before Endgame, Seven on the holodeck with Chakotay.
Right.
I know, but I really felt like that was just trying to, like, they knew where they were going and they were just trying to shoehorn something in.
I mean, isn't that not
that was them saying that there's no way Harry Kim's got game?
Which, true.
And they can't make it work with the doctor, and the doctor's the one. I mean, it's the bad thing of it's Dr. Doolittle and Eliza, but it's just not quite right in the kind of teacher-student, but they work together so well.
Did you just go to Pygmalion?
Yes.
I feel like you did.
Yes, I did.
Well, My Fair Lady, but yeah.
Well, same difference, yes.
Yeah.
So, can I add one random thing that I really hope happens?
Bringing us back the entire show.
It's what I'm here for. It's what I'm here for.
That and ranting at Paramount and CBS.
Listen, someone has to speak to our future sponsors.
Yes.
All right. Yes. I bow to you. I'm gonna need you to wrap up now.
So this is really random, but I saw this episode. It just kind of like pops up out of nowhere. I really want just like 30 seconds, or not even 30, 15 seconds of what happened to the crew of the Equinox once they got back to the Alpha Quadrant. And I would just love for one show to just do a quick clip of like Noah Lessing is now lieutenant or lieutenant commander somewhere and managed to work his way back up after his horrible behavior on the Equinox, or he's I can't remember the girl's name, but like they started a farm somewhere. I just really want to know what happened to the crew of the Equinox.
I think there were 9.
And I think it's a remnant of seeing Janeway.
I think there were 9 survivors. I think of the
It
Equinox.
was like 4 or 5.
Right.
Because remember, she stripped them all of rank in her office.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I think it was like 4, maybe 3 or 4.
Gotta love her for that.
The physical pulling of the pips.
But it's just like what we saw in the original series. You're going to be on the ship with us now, and they're never seen again.
I mean, maybe they got put on California classes. It would be a good lower decks thing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now that
You know
I think
what?
is a possibility.
I'm not
Well,
mad.
I just want to see like something.
You
see
really
what
want
they
to
did
know
with
what
New
I think.
Frontiers. You remember New Frontiers? You had Shelby from Best of Both Worlds. You had Leffler. You had all these other people that were kind of cast aside from Next Generation, ended up on New Frontiers.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm just wondering. And
All right.
yeah.
So we have
We're at the
actually
hour.
reached our hour mark. Final thoughts? I mean, I know you have one, Michael.
Can we do a final rating of this episode?
Okay.
I love a good rating.
I know. All right.
1 to 5.
Fine.
Marie.
Damn. You tied her hands.
2.75.
Ooh. Tough this evening. William.
4.5.
Oh, okay. Very generous. Keith.
4, and I'll give a reason why. My daughters love watching Lower Decks. I've been trying to get them to sit down and watch Prodigy, even though it's a little bit younger age than them. My oldest sat down and watched tonight's episode with me, and she is hooked on Prodigy now just from watching this episode.
I mean,
So,
I can't
4.
imagine not being hooked on Prodigy because Gwen's a badass.
Right. And it does Prodigy does do a good job at holding its own story, even as for children, even if you never watched a lick of any other Star Trek.
Well, she watched previous episodes. She just thought it was too young. It wasn't her age. Well,
Yeah.
this
What's the
episode
target
totally
age
got
for
her in.
Prodigy? What's the target age here?
I believe it's
Was it
Well,
like
it's
6
pretty
or
young.
12?
it's
I
like
thought it was 7 to 9.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
7.
I was gonna say like 7 to 12. Is it 7 to 9?
It could be
it's
because when I
preteen. It's definitely preteen.
Yeah.
it's a preteen and Lower Decks.
My daughters are, but they weren't interested in this. They were more interested in Lower Decks.
And Lower Decks is for teens and above. So
Yes.
Yeah, so I am going. I would give this evening's episode a either 3.5 to 4. I would go 3.75. I thought it was a good episode, and again,
I am out in the cold.
one thing I do like about Prodigy, it always get to Marie's point. It is kitten sunshine and rainbows, but there's always just enough of a reason to pull it back and hold it to that scientific or that Star Trek kind of like thought process and logic. And I really love that about it. So,
They bring a kitten onto the episode, onto the show. I'm never leaving.
They did. They
oh yeah,
had a kitten.
all
and
they
then
need now, besides Murph, all they need now is a pet.
they had a kitten. And
I know.
didn't bring her onto
I
the
know.
cast.
Ooh,
How do you
They
not
had the
bring her
Cation.
on?
They had the Cation.
They had the Cation kitten.
oh goodness,
They freed her from Taurus Lamora, but so then she
the walking kitten. Okay, who is this?
Aaron, we agree.
Who's
Absolutely.
Aaron? Hi,
We do.
Aaron. How you doing, Aaron?
All right, next week's episode, All the World's a Stage from Shakespeare.
Ooh, we're gonna see.
That's not actually a good quote.
Yeah,
It's not, guys.
it's not.
Well, all the galaxies a stage. If Shakespeare were here, it would be a galaxy.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's
So-
more like
What a piece
tale
of
told
work
by an
this
idiot,
man.
full of
How
sound
noble
and
and
fury,
reason,
signifying
how infinite
nothing.
and faculty,
Yes.
in form, in moving, how express, how admirable, and
We're glad to hear it.
adoration, how like an angel, and apprehension, how like a god. I love that line. I love that.
By the way, Jimmy Simpson continues to be in the credits, though we have not seen him since Moral Star Part 2, Dreadnought. So there's a chance, now that Diviner is back and awake, could it be that Dreadnought is not far behind?
Wait. Is this the good Aaron
who, Aaron? Who are you, brother?
from
Who are
Twitter?
you? He said I wrote. My eyes
Man.
went to the eye road in that. Hold on. Wait a minute.
mean,
I told you CBS is listening.
I need to know. Aaron, brother, hold on. Google.
Well, there's no one listed.
Hold on.
oh yeah. Oh, dude, you retweeted some of my articles and made my life.
Oh, nice.
No, everybody, this is actually one of the main screenwriters for Prodigy. So we are super excited to
Oh,
hear
wow.
from you. And
Noah
also,
Lessing.
I'm a little embarrassed for being as critical.
Well, this is just fantastic. Thank you. Wow.
So,
What
like,
have I been saying?
you have once again made my life, Aaron. Thank you.
Wow.
You're at the tail end of the show. I thought it was a joke. Like,
No, I'm like, wait a minute.
Two people that has been watching this entire debacle that we've been having on our show. Like, if you haven't noticed, we are the lower decks of all Star Trek from podcast shows.
Yeah, no, like he's literally sitting back there like the rest of them are right, but that Marie chick, man.
But you know what?
Considering you just gave the episode 2.75, yeah.
Yeah, but to Aaron's point, I do really love Prodigy, and it has been an amazing adventure, and I'm really excited to see where we go. Obviously, because we're still talking about this, and
It has allowed us to go 6 minutes over, and she never does that.
That's true.
Whenever we go past an hour, it means it was good. Like, it means
Considering it's a 22-minute episode, and we've been talking about it for over an hour.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With random segues.
Aaron, you have and are doing a remarkable job. You know, thank you so much. We all love Prodigy.
Let's see the whole season. Let's not gas up too much, guys.
Michael! Excuse me.
It was a joke. It was 100% a joke.
You're worse than me right now.
No. Oh no, you did not. You did not. Also,
you're fine.
I truly hope you enjoy the article that I wrote about this episode that's going to go live on Game Industry News in about 2 weeks.
And we hope to see you next week.
God, we're sad.
If you would like to join us, we would love to have you.
Also valid, yeah.
Yes.
Also valid.
And I promise we'll do our best to keep our composure.
No apologies needed. This is you honor us with your
presence.
All right, now it's getting a little strong. Getting a little strong.
You know, Marie, I believe in stopping them before they go there.
You believe in a lot of things, Michael.
No. Aaron, this is actually very normal for our show. This is very normal. Actually, we've had crazier episodes than this.
All right, guys.
Considering this is the author of Kobayashi and A Moral Star Part 1 and Part 2. So
well done.
Yep.
Well, actually, you know what? Kobayashi Maru, to me, is one of my top 5 episodes of Star Trek.
You bring back all of the idea. What did you get?
All right. Yeah, we are now fawning. So we are now fawning. Once again, I want to thank everybody who has dropped in. I certainly want to thank my panel, William, Kevin, and Michael. You're not wrong. Yeah. You're not wrong. We only pick because we love.
If we nitpick it,
now, if I can only convince my husband of that. So yes, obviously, thank you to our viewers. Aaron, super excited that you were able to comment and join us. And William, I can't find the beautiful bean footage. Can you make that happen?
Here you go.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not going to ever say it on the internet. Yeah, never.
I'm sorry. Wait. There was a shadow of a church.
Okay. What?
William has questionable ideas about what he puts. William has questionable ideas about what he puts on the internet.
Oh, I remember that episode.
Uh-huh.
I remember that episode. Yeah.
Wait, what? Wait.